Yes.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Call to order the Diamond Head Water and Sewer District meeting of October the 12th, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Can I please get a roll call?
Chairman Brian Griffin,
Here.
Treasurer Louis Hertel,
Here.
Commissioner Mark Lysaker,
Here.
Commissioner Arlen Griffey,
Here.
and Commissioner Eric Nolan.
Here.
Thank you, Tony. Prior to the meeting, I went back over and scanned, make sure I didn't see any. I did not see any additions to the agenda, modifications of any kind. Consequently, I request a call for approval of the agenda as sent out to us early.
So moved.
Commissioner Tell, Commissioner Griffey, seconds. All in favor of approval of this action, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Public comments? We thought we were going to have some, but apparently not.
Yes, sir.
All right. Minutes to the last meeting of September 28th, 2023, also in the packet. Can I get a motion to approve unless there is a request to change?
So moved.
Commissioner Hertel, motions to approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
Nolan, Commissioner Nolan, seconds. Thank you, Commissioner. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Carries unanimously. Thank you. Moves us into construction engineering projects, sections. I'm sorry, general manager's report. I do want to hear the general manager's report.
Me too.
Thanks, sir. We'll start with the elevated water tank project. Contractors are continuing with the punch list items. The north light fixture was removed to be repaired. Seems like we've had ongoing issues with the lighting, but they'll get it straight eventually. The design for the installing of the altitude valve is about 40% complete, and we should have a review set of drawings complete by 10/20. The water system improvement project phase 2 punch list is complete for that project. The engineers are now working on the closeout documents for that. Water system improvement project phase 3, the project remains at approximately 97% complete. Contractor is still working to install sod and make incidental repairs in medians and yards. The sod is expected to be completed within the next week, pending any weather delays. We will still need to have a final inspection on that project and generate a punch list for incidental items before the project is to be closed out. Sewer improvement project phases 13, 16, and 17. Crews will continue sodding and working toward closing out that portion of the project. The project is about 69% complete. Lining crews expected to return on site next week. No abandoned easement this meeting. Drainage ditch at Colo Court is holding its own. The McKeekee drainage project, the city council has authorized, or did authorize the city manager, John McCraw, to award the project to Bottom Top Construction. I've already spoken to Joseph Raffio, the owner of Bottom Top, and we will be working together to ensure all DWSD requirements are met during the course of this project. They will submit a sewer bypass pumping plan to the district for approval prior to beginning that portion of the work. Currently, there is no plan to disturb the water main at that site during this construction project. This is subject to change if needed, but will be minimized to a short period of interruption. The MDOT roundabout project, pending board approval tonight, we will award the project to LJ Construction for the relocation of existing utilities as required by MDOT. MDOT requires a notice of award to be signed in order to proceed with the project. That is item 6.5A on the agenda tonight. Some highlights from the maintenance department: 1 sewer cleanout installed, 5 sewer cleanout concrete castings were set, 2 water service repairs, 6 new water sewer services installed, 1 after-hour call for service repairs. That's all I have, unless you have questions.
Thank you, Dave, for that report. Any questions from the commissioners or comments?
I'm fine.
Everybody good? Well, while we use this as a general catch-all for production and or potential production aspect of projects, let me just use this opportunity to quiz you a little bit and catch up on things. Where is the city now standing on the potential, no potential any longer, of the dog park and the potential overlay of the sewer main?
The last I heard, they were looking at alternative sites, one being beside the library and one being by the duck pond up front. I think they've dismissed the duck pond issue, from what I understand, from what I saw in the meeting, that they discussed that at the end of the meeting. She couldn't get a second for the duck pond, so that should be squashed, I believe. But I think they're looking at the library land, or land around the library.
Interesting.
At the last council meeting, they brought up, the property adjacent to the, library. And the problem, the way the motion was the way the agenda was worded was that it was as though the county had requested them to proceed to look at that, and so the wording was manipulated, and so they're trying to get a survey to see what's there.
Got it.
So I don't think they've got a site.
And there was talk that a couple of people have offered to donate property. None of that has come to fruition as of my discussion this morning with John McCraw. So
But right now, we're not breathing down or having our throats breathed down relative to the potential to interrupt that water main.
I don't think there's any dog park at the moment.
no, sir, I don't think so.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
You know, they tried to deflect and make an issue out of the problem that needs fixing about the district there on the sewer line. There's nothing to fix. If anyone reads the letter, it's clear that it's saying there's potential for that to happen, not that it happens.
Right.
And
So
they've got a bigger issue with this condo thing, this rezoning. They had umpteen people at the last council meeting waiving their time for legal counsel. Legal counsel gets up and they're all going, and so they tabled it. They're gonna come back and they're all reorganized, and they're gonna come back stronger, so that they're not worried about the dog park right now.
Well, were we concerned about the dog park being there because of the water main, or because they were having a pier put over top of it?
both the location of the proximity of the sewer main through the middle of the dog park, as well as where they formed the piers for that pier, as well as the potential for a manhole always can overflow, given the right circumstances.
Mhm.
And that's all in that letter. So we're just pointing out, if you build it, you assume all risk of doing so
Mhm.
at that site.
You're building it in a potential sewer field.
Exactly.
I mean,
You are, but it got manipulated. What was
Yeah.
written in the letter got manipulated into we were being, and we weren't.
We were the
simply
obstructions.
saying, yeah, we were simply saying, assume the risk. And of course, come to find out, 5 of the 6 didn't know what was there. So they were like, wait. And that's what happened.
Yes, information is power. Just because anytime I see such activity, I think about the potential to tag us on infrastructure. The manifest clearing going I-10 east, what is that about? Is that a widening of I-10?
No, that's Cooperative Energy cutting an easement for their new power lines for the substation.
Okay.
They have a 100-foot easement along that DOT right of way. I just talked to the guy in charge of Cooperative Energy yesterday, because we have a grave concern of them vibratorily driving caissons 5 foot in diameter within close proximity to our water main on the south side. Our water main crosses I-10 about 28 feet deep.
Right.
It rises up next to that fence line to about 5 feet deep, runs along the fence line to the west, cuts back into the south side of Diamond Head. That was the original feed for all the south side until we ran the new 12-inch line down here on this end. So our concern is the vibration and the potential damage to that water main. We had a lengthy discussion yesterday, and he's coming up with some plans to see how far back they can move, because it's not just a matter of moving one hole. You know, there's a couple of caissons going in for these large poles to hold these wires, and it's a little more involved than just backing it up. They'll have to realign everything all the way down that side of the highway. Then they have to cross over the highway because they can't connect to the existing lines on the south side of the interstate.
Back to the assume the risk conversation.
That's kind of my wording to him yesterday.
I'm not sure I think we're bluffing a little bit. There's not gonna be a lot we can do to a utility like that.
sorry, you have to elaborate on that for me. When our utility is damaged by another utility, there's not a lot we can do.
I think that's gonna be right. I've gotta look at case law and everything, but statutorily, they're sitting where we are. It's a public necessity, and it's gonna be considered incidental. I may be wrong. I don't think so. It's been a while.
Why does that not seem logical? Yeah.
Them are railroads and electric, there's nothing you can do.
I think when you're dealing with utilities, you're kind of all on the same footing too.
You've been around that more than I have, but it's kind of, I don't think, I may be wrong, but I don't think so. I need to look at that.
Well, I have advised him already to have his fittings and manpower standing by ready to repair it. If need be, we'll isolate it for you.
Oh, no, that's fair. That's fair, but, I mean, the costs, we're in a different boat, like when we're talking about Colo in the city, that's totally different because they're not a utility provider, and that is by just simply not, it's deferred maintenance and everything. They're not doing any of that. They're installing new utilities that are needed for public health, safety, and welfare. Is going to be the argument, just like what we're doing if we, and there ain't going to be much we do about it. I don't think. I'm going to look.
They were very cooperative. I mean, the name Cooperative Energy, right? But he said that he would have things geared up in case of that happening. So hopefully it won't happen, and hopefully he will be prepared if it does. It'll just be a matter of us isolating it on both sides. We still have the feed going in. We shouldn't have an interruption of water.
It'll be the south side customer base that will be pissy. They'll be irrigated.
They'll be irrigated with us.
They'll be irrigated with us, that's right. All right. Thank you. All right. No more questions, comments? We'll move on to section 6, construction engineering projects. 6.1A specifically on the sewer water improvements phase 1 and 2, basins 13, 16, and 17. Seeking a motion to approve Suncoast Infrastructure Payout number 16 in the amount of $235,440 for the time period September 1st, 2023 through September 30, 2023, leaving a remaining balance of $2,001,393.21 on this contract. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Bisecker motions to approve. Commissioner Griffey seconds. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. 6.2 tonight, there is nothing. Or 6.3. 6.4, specifically water system rehab phase 3 project. 6.4A, seeking a motion to approve Seymour Engineering invoice 8892 in the amount of $14,500 for the time period August 2023 through September 30, 2023, leaving a remaining balance of $26,000 on this contract. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Ertel motions. Commissioner Nolan seconds. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. 6.5, MDOT Roundabout Utility Relocation Project. 6.5A, specifically, as mentioned during the General Manager's report, seeking a motion to award the MDOT Roundabout Utility Relocation Construction Project, to the best and lowest bidder, LJ Construction, in the amount of $100,086.09, as recommended by Digital Engineering, and to authorize the chairman to execute the notice of award. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Nolan motions to approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Ertel seconds. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. 6.5B, motion to approve digital engineering invoice 728.1310.02207 in the amount of $6,664.50 for the time period of August 27th, 2023 through September 30, 2023, leaving a remaining balance of $2,222.30 on this contract. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Bosecker motions. Commissioner Griffey seconds. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Did I catch it? What? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. 6.6, Lift Station 17, Diamond Head Drive, East Force Main. 6.6A specifically seeking a motion to approve Seymour Engineering invoice 8893 in the amount of $13,450 for the time period of September 19, 2023 through September 30, 2023. The remaining balance of $14,750 on this contract. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Nolan motions to approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Ortell seconds. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And it's carried unanimously. Thank you. 6.7 miscellaneous construction engineering projects. 6.7A specifically seeking a motion to approve digital engineering invoice. You'll have to bear with me on this. It's a lot to read. Number 23R00024.007-05 in the amount of $4,240 for the GIS integration project, and invoice number 23R00024.011.01 in the amount of $480 for the Diamond Head Lakes Phase 2 plan review, invoice number 23R00024.00903 in the amount of $1,120.50 for the grant application assistance, invoice number 23R00024.008-01 in the amount of $800 for the Preserve Phase 2 plan review, and invoice number 23R00024.010.01 in the amount of $2,500 for the Tower 2 altitude valve, all for the time period of August 27th, 2023 through September 30, 2023. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Wow, there's a lot of you.
Ms. Buxton?
Commissioner.
We appreciate your effort.
Commissioner, the motion is made by Commissioner Griffey, seconded by Commissioner Bisecker. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And it is carried unanimously. Thank you. The financials, number 7.1, docket of claims and financials report. Seeking a motion to approve the payment of docket of claims in the total amount of $209,396.74 as attached here too. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Ortell, second. Can I take you for a second? Commissioner Bisecker seconds. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And it is carried unanimously. 7.1B, motion to acknowledge payment of unapproved docket of claims as detailed in Section 6, which we just went through, in the total amount of $279,197. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Nolan motions to approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Ortell seconds. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And it is carried unanimously. 7.1.C, motion to approve the payment of the customer deposit refund register in the total amount of $836.16 is attached here too. Can I get a motion to approve? Commissioner Bisecker motions. Commissioner Griffey seconds. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
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 And it is carried as well unanimously. Leads us to 7.1D, the Treasurer's Report.
Yep.
Thank you. Our available bank balance as of September 30, 2023 is $9,606,797.77. Of this available cash, $7,003,485 is budgeted in the 5-year CIP plan. $1,937,645 is for operating and maintenance, and the remaining $665,668 is the emergency reserve. Our bond principal debt balance is $19,531,000. Our bad debt transfers for the month are $11.03, and year-to-date is $732.92. Our total revenues are at 106%, which is above budget for the year due to the higher non-operating revenues than expected. The September bill cycle indicates a 1% increase in operating revenue from last month and a 30% increase in operating revenue from the same time last year. Our total expenses are at 91%, which is below budget for the year. Our operating ratio goal is 1.10, and we're at 1.67. And our debt ratio goal is 1.25, and we're at 4.83. Our CIP project spending is currently at 65%, which is below budget for the year. However, 98% of the budgeted CIP is currently under design for construction. And to also note that the
questions for the comptroller?
No.
No.
All good. Leads us over to section 8. Thank you, by the way, Tony. Old business, 8.1, specifically seeking a motion to spread upon the minutes the executed Wright, Ward, Hatton, and Gould audit engagement letter that was approved by the board on September 28th.
So moved.
Commissioner Ertel, motion to approve. Can I pick you as the second, Commissioner Griffey?
Sure, certainly.
All in favor of approval's action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion is carried. Thank you. New business 9.1, motion to approve the Hancock-Whitney resolution authorizing Commissioner Eric Nolan with bank signatory and to authorize execution of all district signatory forms.
So moved.
Commissioner Ertel motions to approve. Commissioner Bisecker seconds. All in favor of approval's action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 9.2, seeking a motion to approve the Diamond Head Water and Sewer District Board of Commissioners officers for the period of October 1st, 2023 through September 30, 2024 as follows, and obviously we'll carry this over into discussion. Seeking a motion to move into this, carry to discussion.
So moved.
Commissioner
Second.
Ertel and Commissioner Griffith. Was that Griffey or?
Yeah.
Good. All in favor of approval's action for the moment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we're in discussion. So normally this is carried by a nomination. Nomination for chairman.
I nominate Brian Griffith.
Second.
Well, that was that was quick. Are there any opposing candidates?
None.
There being none.
There being none. Vice chairman. I nominate Commissioner Ertel.
So moved.
Well, that's not quite ready for that.
No, okay. Second.
And I need a treasurer. Nominate a treasurer. Commissioner, next to the longest duration will be you, Commissioner Bisecker.
Okay.
Commissioner Bisecker? All right, no opposition so far. All right. Commissioner Ertel, Commissioner Griffey, you good with coming out of discussion with those
Yes.
nominations?
I'm good.
All right, then I'll return to the motion. Motion to approve Diamond Head Water and Sewer District Board of Commissioner officers for the period of October 1st, 2023 through September 30, 2024 as follows. Chairman Brian Griffith, Vice Chairman Lou Ertel, and Treasurer Mike Bisecker.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve that by Commissioner Griffey and a second by Commissioner Nolan. All in favor of approve this action signify by saying aye.
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 And aye, and the motion carries unanimously. Leads us to 9.3, motion to discuss and/or approve credit request for Leela Thisel, 652 Cola Place due to water-cooled air conditioner system leak which caused higher than normal sewer charges that falls outside the board leak forgiveness policy D23004. So that's obviously going to, I seek a motion to move into discussion.
So moved.
Commissioner Griffey, Commissioner Ertel, all in favor of approval of this action, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. Carries us into discussion.
So how much is it?
That's a tricky question.
Tricky.
Yeah, I don't like that. I like when our accountant says.
His requests are rather complicated, and it's not just one set number, but we've got it narrowed down. And Tony can give you some more details. Hopefully the condensed version is a lot of data to this one.
There are years and years of detail from 2009 to current.
Gosh.
Miss Thistle, Leland Thistle, the customer, or the owner, currently in a nursing facility. Her son has power of attorney and has requested two things. First, request number one is a credit amount of $3,450.30, which basically is a refund of the sewer cost over the water consumption above historical typical levels from the time his mother hired the plumber. Around about April, May 2020.
Can you give me that number again?
$3,450.30.
Okay.
Based on his request, that's the number that we've been able to calculate.
And that's over and above the total cost. So the
Yes.
total cost is like 6,000, and this is,
Yes.
okay,
This is, he's requested, it's basically about half the amount.
okay, that's, yeah, thank you.
The number 2 request is a refund of all of the sewer costs from the period of July 27th of 2020 to March 7th of 2023. In essence, almost 3 years. That amounts to $15,338.47. Those are the 2 requests he has made. Those are the numbers that we've been able to calculate based on his request. The request that he completed was Board Policy D 2023-004, which allows a customer, it's leak forgiveness, it allows a customer who has a leak for us to take the 12-month average and determine what that credit would be in excess of that average. We've done that, but that policy caps out at $1,000. So, and that is a request he completed, but obviously his request exceeds $1,000, which is why everything is being brought before the board, because there isn't a policy in place for this particular case. It has been, as his request states, from 2020 on, it's been going on. The account was being paid until February of this year, when the bank draft came back. It was returned to us. That's when the general manager got involved, met with the customer, had inspections done at the property, which he can describe a little bit more of that. But the customer was working with David on that, but we have yet to receive recovery of that return. And he is requesting credit back for years of sewer costs that were paid for and incurred. So,
All right,
here we are.
When Mr. Thistle received the high bill, or when y'all saw the high bill, and after talking with you, David, y'all were notifying him of
Years.
every time he had a high bill.
Miss Thistle had been paying the bill an average of $1,000+ a
Was well
month for
aware.
quite some
He
time.
was well aware.
Take it.
Because,
I'm sorry. Well, by her request, she has a weird air conditioning system. It circulates
gotta be
the
water
water.
cooled, yeah.
Water jacket.
She has a well
Okay.
source heat.
that's right.
Okay, and so, anyway, she said it was easier for her to just pay the water bill than have it fixed.
That's not
And
true.
she would, that's.
No, that's okay,
Months.
continue, don't let me derail it.
Last year, I said, well, this is crazy. But when we talked to her, she says, I know, I can't get anybody to fix it, I'm just paying the bill, so we just kept rolling along.
We sent letters.
The staff has been great, and that's what this stack of this folder consists of, all the communications that the staff has tried to say, Miss Thistle, you're having another $900 or $1,000 or $1,200 bill, and she's
Before it was
like,
tracked.
don't care, can't
Before
find
it was
anybody, just pay it.
Just, so, and.
Months and months and months.
A brief disclosure on the side. The son of Miss Thistle is represented by another attorney in my office, and I have talked to him about it, and I've been very candid. My recommendation, as y'all all know, will be do not refund a dime. But, so they're well aware. They knew it was coming up tonight. I told them it was on the agenda when the agenda came out earlier this week, and you can see no one's here. I think that's somewhat telling, but she knew there's been a subsequent to all that, her saying just pay it, there's been a conservatorship fight between the son and her daughter. And the daughter has been using the home, and so there's so many other factors. It's not that there was this leak and we need relief. she chose, she was cognizant, she was in control, she made those choices.
That's the file of communication where we said you have a
Things she's
problem.
talking about.
And so now for him to come in, so after he's now won the fight with the sister for control, he wants to get the house ready to sell.
Sure.
And of course, this money, if he could get a credit and get a refund, would help him alleviate
Fund
some, yes, to some degree. But nonetheless, either way, the district is being asked to refund something when all the district and the staff did was exactly what the customer asked them to do.
Yeah, dig it.
Did we do that in writing to her?
Yeah, there's a lot of writing. So my question is this: our policy is $1,000, right? Now, is that annually, or is that once every 5 years?
It's
or
one time.
It's one time, correct?
It's one time.
My proposal is we give them $1,000. I mean, as goodwill. But God
You're
bless you.
good.
Have a nice day.
You're a good man. If that's
just-
the will of the board, it's y'all's decision.
That's my proposal.
It's y'all's decision of what to do, but the district, you know, to sit here and have this request for that amount of money, there has to be an inference that the district did something incorrectly and the district did not.
Right.
How much do they owe us since they stopped paying?
$5,800.
With fees and everything,
With everything.
$6,045.12.
That they're still in arrears on.
That they're still in arrears on?
That's the balance.
So if you gave him the 1,000, I would suggest you just not get
So it's gonna be $5,400 then, yeah.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what the board
Well, I
decides
mean,
to do.
it's not that I don't think the board is inflexible or inhumane, but I mean, it's a pretty big file. And it's been well documented, so.
And we cut it off quickly when
Right.
the draft came back.
Right.
Because, I mean, this is like a commercial account in the numbers, so when we saw that it wasn't being paid, we stopped it. Of course, there's always that billing cycle in the rear, then that billing cycle coming up, so with the fees, it comes up to that much money.
So their water's shut off right now?
Oh, it has been
Okay.
since I got it wrong, yes, sir. We
Since
shut it
March.
off as soon as the audit draft came back.
So the confabulation of the two elements of this, we do have an outstanding almost $6,000 bill to this particular property, which will stay there, will have to be satisfied before it can ever be sold. And we have a request for credit that we'd be foolish to go any higher than $1,000 in lieu of our policy. We'd just be opening ourselves in the future for, actually, as we all know, any dip into this is a problem. It allows an awful lot of opportunity that would be errant for us to follow each time. But if it's recognizing that as it may be, is a really sad situation, like all the way around.
It's unusual.
So here's what I think I heard, and let me summarize it so that we can at least know what we depart from or to. The proposal, again, as connected, would be to simply deny options 1 and 2, return to the policy cap of $1,000, leaving a balance due to satisfy the debt of X on the property account. End of story. Is that what everybody? Is that what you're?
That's, I understand and I recommend that as well.
Well, that being the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, can we put some criteria on that basically in your findings, if y'all would, that there's no basis for any
Correct.
credit or reimbursement, but out of goodwill, given the
Correct.
situation
And a standard policy.
and the standard policies, you're willing to allow the credit for 1,000.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you want to, I don't
But we're not
want anything to be
obligated.
taken as an admission that there was some validity to any of the claim.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I don't think there was.
We're not obligated.
Right,
Yeah.
so.
I mean, we're trying to do something.
Well, you're
That we would
doing
do
it,
for
but you're
any
doing
citizen.
it out of goodwill.
Correct.
You're doing it to be a good steward of the
That's
community.
right.
You're not doing it because he had any validity in his claim,
That's true.
so.
All right. I'll give that a try for everyone's benefit.
Shot before that?
Beg your pardon?
You want a shot before that?
If I could read Seymour's project invoice four deep, I think I can do this.
You got it.
All right. So coming out of discussion and satisfied that we can come out of discussion, that would be Commissioner Griffey and Commissioner Hertel. Coming out of the discussion, the modified motion, or the motion would be to deny the requests as stated for option 1 and 2 to the Thistle property. However, given that there is no evidence, or there has been no evidence of anything but goodwill on the part of, let me back up. There's been no evidence of anything but operational awareness from the very first out of line over volume, and communication with the customer dating back now to the date mentioned, and every month thereafter.
Can I add something?
Yes.
In addition to the customer's authorization
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
to go forward.
Yeah. With that communication returning from, the communication back from the customer to proceed going forward with the billing, though known to be large and over volume. The district finds that it would extend goodwill of the maximum cap in the policy by number of $1,000 to be deducted from the outstanding bill, and only deducted from the outstanding bill when satisfied by the customer.
The customer's representative.
Or, well, the customer's representative would just substitute the customer's representative for the customer. We don't know the customer's representative, don't have any association with such persons, right? We only know the customer. It's a little lengthy, yes ma'am.
Can I ask the board to include in that the approval to not continue to charge late fees? Or how do we handle that? Because the balance will change every time, every month.
Yeah, there's no sense in
Until
that.
it's-
We should suspend. It's turned off, right? It's terminated?
It is turned off, but the account's turned off, but there's a balance. There's a balance,
I get
the
it.
system's going to generate a late fee
Late
of
fee every
$10 or
month,
1.5%, whichever's greater.
So let me just back up to the statement on goodwill of deduction of $1,000 per the cap, in addition to the termination of continued late fees.
Can we do that?
We can. Well, I'm saying we would in this particular case. It's not part of our policy. We're taking a move or not to do that.
Can I add an amendment to that?
Sure.
Suspend the late fees for 6 months unless the bill's not paid.
I like that
And then
move.
I like it too.
Where-
Suspend the late fees for 6 months,
Pending.
pending
Final
bill
payment.
resolution.
I like that.
Yeah.
Carrot and stick.
Yeah.
For just cleaning up the edges, Madam Attorney, could you read that back?
Yeah, good job.
There goes the hourly rate. Back up.
Mine makes 0 sense.
You want, I can try, but I
Want the
didn't
replay?
get, I was gonna go back and have to listen to the tape. I'm not,
All right.
I'm not kidding.
That's what I'm going to
Do we need to carry this over to the next board meeting, perhaps? No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
All right.
dispense
No, I
with it.
mean, once we,
Once we listen to it, I can.
basically you've got, and this is my cryptic shorthand, motion to deny the request 1 and 2 made by Leo Thistle due to prior communications and directions by and district personnel. But due to goodwill of the district, agrees to $1,000 credit per district policy and suspension of late fees for 6 months pending the bill being paid bill being satisfied by the customer
within that period.
within that 6 month period. Yeah. And it needs doctoring up.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
you'll do a fine job with that. We'll come back and ratify it in the next meeting, right?
Yep.
All right.
No, y'all can go ahead and vote on it. We'll
Yeah,
just
but I'm
get it
saying
straight in
that
the
it'll
minutes.
get cleaned up in the meeting minutes.
Yeah, it'll be cleaned up.
Essentially the same thing.
It
Everybody
is.
good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well
That
done,
was-
well navigated.
That was
That's fair.
It is fair.
was beyond fair. If
It
you've been
really
told
is.
to continue,
I mean-
proceed as.
We are trying to serve the citizenry as best we can.
You are, but you also have a fiduciary
Right.
duty to protect.
And we don't want to set a precedent, a poor precedent.
Amen to that.
So,
All right. Well, without reciting it, but as stated earlier, coming out of the discussion previously, are you again good, Commissioner Griffey and Commissioner Attell?
I'm good, sir.
If everyone is good with the motion as recrafted, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, that leads us into the last motion of the evening, which is to register.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I did have one. I wanted to add one thing.
Well, aren't you
Sorry.
something?
Well, with your permission.
Well, let's have at it.
Okay, and it
This is
may-
a section 994.
No,
Is it
it's just
9.4.5?
it's just a
9.47?
discussion. Y'all may not want to add anything.
All right, out with it, young
Okay,
lady.
that's what I'm trying to. Okay, so and y'all may say you're crazy, but that's fine too. But at the beginning of each calendar year, we have to set your meeting schedule
Mhm.
by statute, and we've done that. And after much fanfare and ado, we were basically required to have our meetings at City Hall so that they could be live streamed for the public.
Right.
There are numerous, and Dave didn't know I was going to say this, so I apologize to all y'all in advance, but I'm saying this for y'all. They spend a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of trouble for them to get everything ready to pack up to haul over there every meeting. National Night Out Against Crime, or whatever it is over there tonight, it has been all over the coast for 2 weeks now. They could have picked any night in the world. We reserved that room a year in advance, and we were kicked out. You were able to find us because you're the only one that ever come, Mr. Falladry. And I don't know if it was terribly inconvenient for y'all tonight, but I mean, why are we doing this when nobody cares? The mayor herself was the one that made the huge deal about the live streaming and making it available for the public, and then they kick us out, so we can't do it. And now the only ones are these 3 or 4. They're the ones that are doing the brunt of the hassle, having to put up with it. So I just would like to hear y'all to think about when we do the next schedule, can we just come home?
You
So,
mean do it here? Okay. Simply put, have the meetings here.
But it's something to think about. I'm not asking you to take
No,
action
that's
tonight.
cool.
I will add to that, if I may. Tony and I are already looking into camera equipment if you wish to stream it. We still have the YouTube channel, it's ours, so if that's a big thing, we can get some numbers for you maybe by the next meeting and tell you, here's what it costs to put a camera, da-da-da-da.
Camera, sound system. We have a Polycom, right?
But I mean, you don't need it. But I mean, the whole
Price is
point,
coming down.
the prices are coming down, and the whole point is, you know, there's this big brouhaha, but then when they just kick us to the curb. Well, which one is it? You either want us there or not. We reserved the room a year in advance. I know they didn't have to have that tonight. So, up to you.
I think it would be good to not knee jerk on this one. Let's take this up in the next meeting.
Agreed.
There are pros and cons both ways. The effort notwithstanding. Price of the effort notwithstanding. We're going to come into, I'm just going to stage this a little bit why I don't think this needs to be knee-jerked, okay? As has been stated even when we previously did this to start with, if we had any item on the agenda that had even a reasonable cause for a response, this place would be overwhelmed in a New Jersey moment. The second reason is, as we're going to come closer to the next election cycle, there's going to be more and more ancillary attention given all of the activities in Diamond Head, and there is going to be more, I think, could be wrong, more interaction associated with governance structures in the city. And lastly, I mean, that space is known by any and everyone that has ever gone to a meeting in Diamond Head, and this one is not. And so I can certainly be dissuaded. I'm just telling you, this is not a quick decision. And I fully understand, because I used to do a lot of that business myself in our own operations in my prior career. I understand the burden. And but I'm also not gonna. I don't think we fall victim to slinging too much mud about having a year schedule in advance and one night being derailed from the schedule that's just better suited for whatever reason to another activity. We could just as likely find ourselves in a situation where we needed something and needed to make the request the other way to bump. So, but it has to be decided, and we should post the schedule, but I really sound like I am on the fence one way or the tilted one way or another. I'm not. I just want us to recognize, just don't do it just for the sake of doing it. Let's talk it through. Let's figure out what is best for everybody involved, because we do serve the public.
I absolutely agree, but we're in the middle of October. That gives you 2 months to think about. That's my point.
We won't need 2 months,
but
we
you
just
have.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
I'm not saying by any means do it tonight. I agree, and you made some very valid points about why it should probably stay, and I can't argue with that, but I also think alternatively that it may not matter. Why not bring it back over here?
It may not matter.
I just think that, but y'all need to have a discussion and have time to think about it.
And just to shut down the other qualifier, you are crazy, but we love
I
you.
know. But that not for this. Not for this.
Yeah.
This
But you're
doesn't apply. I know, I do. Rarely admit it.
Right. There was no 9-4. It's just a general discussion about what needs to come up next, and it's as well placed because, as you point out, we have the logistics of posting the calendar and reserving here or there. Mm-hmm. I know that Tony and Dave and Joe use this place as dance hall on Thursday nights. Yeah, exactly. So. All right, leading us over to item 10. Again, the next meeting, item 10, is to seek a motion to close with the motion to adjourn with the understanding the next meeting of the Board of Commissioners is scheduled for October 26th, 2023 at 4 p.m. and as stated, currently at the Diamond Head City Hall, Chambers, 5000 Diamond Head Circle, Diamond Head, Mississippi. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Commissioner Tell, Commissioner Nolan seconds. All in favor of approval of this action signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
You got to gavel us out, man.
That's true. And I'd like to thank my campaign manager and everyone